You've nailed every metric. Everything on paper looks perfect. But now, something's wrong. Your seat at the table, slowly slipping away. Your performance review, every box is ticked. All targets met, and yet something has shifted. You can feel it in the air and the silence that follows your suggestions. Your ideas are recorded, then filed away under requires further study. Decisions seem to happen just before you walk into the room or just after you leave. No one says you're doing anything wrong, but you're no longer in the loop. You've been moved, not demoted, but relocated on the organizational map. You're still performing at your best, but now you've been quietly moved, not demoted, but transferred. From performance to risk assessment, a department where success isn't enough anymore. Let's name it. One of these is now true for you. 1. Your work gets approved, but the way you do it is now a management topic. You're not wrong, you're just an independent variable. 2. Your voice is heard, but your words are treated like a foreign language that needs translation before the system can understand them. Or 3. Your job title is the same, but your actual role has been shrink-wrapped. You've gone from being a player in the game to a specialist tool in the cabinet. This isn't about being popular, it's about being legible. And right now the system is squinting at you, trying to read a font it doesn't recognize. Here's the first rule of systems. Their number one job is not to be brilliant or efficient or even successful. Their number one job is to keep existing, to persist. And the easiest way to do that is to make everything inside them the same, predictable, interchangeable. This is why being genuinely different is a more serious offense than being spectacularly wrong. Think about a mistake, a real expensive mistake. A manager at a retail giant misjudges demand and millions in inventory rots in a warehouse. It's a disaster, but it's a system-approved disaster. The playbook activates investigations, firings, press releases, new software. The system digests the error and actually emerges stronger. It gets to flex its muscles, show it has procedures. The mistake becomes proof that the system works. Now think about being different, not wrong. Different. Imagine that same company has an economist who starts asking in meetings if the relentless pursuit of growth is ethical or even sustainable. They're not bad at math. They're questioning the religion of the spreadsheet. Their presence is a glitch in the system's reality. They're not making an error. They're suggesting a different game entirely. That's not a problem you solve. That's a reality you have to contain or delete. A mistake costs money. A difference challenges the meaning of money. Now, think about predictability. Systems are giant prediction engines. They need to forecast everything. Risk, output, next quarter's numbers. An error, even a huge one, is a predictable cost. You can budget for it. When an airplane is grounded for 2 years due to an engineering flaw, it costs billions. Yet the entire company has legal, PR, and engineering protocols for this exact nightmare. It's terrible, but it's a familiar kind of terrible. The person who doesn't fit, they are an unmodelable event. Picture the genius programmer who only works from midnight to dawn, who communicates in cryptic, perfect memos, who finds team-building exercises physically painful. Their code is perfect, but they are a black box. Management cannot predict them, cannot plan for them, cannot put them in a spreadsheet. For a machine built on prediction, an unpredictable person is a permanent system error. The system can bankrupt itself, fixing a known flaw. It will quietly sideline an unknown element. Finally, look at what holds a group together. Punishing a mistake is a fantastic team-building exercise. It creates a common enemy. We are not like that person who failed. It draws a circle and puts everyone on the inside. Watch any corporate scandal. Heads roll. There are solemn vows to do better. The error becomes the glue that binds everyone else together in righteous agreement. The person who is just different, they're a terrible enemy. You can't rally the troops against someone who simply has a different rhythm. Instead, they cause a low-grade, constant friction. They make everyone else work a little harder to believe their own story about how we do things here. They're not a threat you can defeat in a meeting. They're a cognitive burden you eventually decide to outsource. The system builds unity by firing the failure. It finds peace by forgetting the different one. Here's the truth you need to internalize. The system isn't rejecting you. It's rejecting the format you're in. The question isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finding the right environment where your difference is your advantage. You might be smarter, you might see further. But the system's most important program is self-preservation through uniformity. Installing a better but non-standard part is a risk. Replacing a broken standard part is just maintenance. Once you're flagged as different, arguing about your great results is like speaking a dead language. What happens next isn't really your choice. It's the system running its standard quarantine protocol. First, your uniqueness gets reclassified from talent to noise. Your way of thinking isn't a feature anymore. It's static. They need to filter out to hear their own instructions clearly. Second, your achievements get put on hold. They're not rejected. They're sent to a room called pending review. They wait there forever for a meeting that will never be scheduled. Third, you get mentally downgraded. The system stops trying to understand why you are the way you are. It just wants to know if you can still perform task X. You go from being a whole person to being a tool with an annotation attached. Handle with care. This isn't strategy. This is immunology. The system is wrapping your otherness in bureaucratic bubble wrap so it can't infect the core code. In this zone, 3 stories you tell yourself are toxic. The martyr story. I'm a visionary, sacrificed on the altar of conformity. To the system, this just reads, high maintenance, resistant to authority. The prophet story. History will prove me right. The system's calendar shows fiscal quarters, not history. Your truth is irrelevant if it disrupts this quarter's stability. The secret club story. Looking for other different people to form a little group. This is the fastest way to get deleted. The system can tolerate a lone weirdo. It will dismantle what it sees as the beginnings of a rival faction. So what's left? The exits are few, and they all have a price. Exit A. Assimilate. Grind down every interesting edge until you fit the socket perfectly. Learn to love the things you once questioned. The cost, you save your job by retiring the mind that made you valuable. Exit B, become a utility. Negotiate to become so hyper-specialized, so uniquely useful in one tiny area that they tolerate your strangeness everywhere else. The cost, you become a fixture. Your career path ends at the wall of your expertise. You're the quirky machine they keep in the back until the one thing you know how to fix breaks. Exit C, plan your migration. But where can you go when every system seems designed to make you fit in or disappear? Can you really find a place where your difference is seen as an asset? The cost, starting from zero. The insecurity, the exhausting work of proving yourself again. But it's the only path where you get to survive the journey. Refusing to change gets you pushed out. Changing completely erases you. The worst choice is believing, against all evidence, that you can stay you. and be welcomed. Here's the final, quiet part. Systems aren't afraid of problems. They're afraid of problems they don't have a name for. Mistakes, the system knows how to handle them. But being different, that's the ultimate challenge. It asks the system, why does anything have to be this way? And in the next chapter, we'll reveal why this difference is both your greatest threat and your only opportunity. This obsession with categorization explains the most baffling workplace rule of all. Why the person who breaks the rules but delivers is often forgiven, while the person who follows every rule but thinks differently is slowly made invisible. The rule breaker is still playing the game. They affirm the importance of the rules by breaking them. The different thinker might be playing a different game altogether, and that is the ultimate threat. This logic of control leads directly to the system's next, more brutal calculation, a calculation that turns your greatest strength into your most exploitable weakness. In our next chapter, we'll pull back the curtain on why the capable are more likely to take on high-risk tasks. The system has a simple formula. It reserves its most dangerous problems for the people least able to refuse them.